Hey everybody, welcome to Review with Me, your review guide of shows, movies, and everything in between. Be sure to click the like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get on with this review. Hello. Hello. You guys, let's get into it. We've been waiting for this episode, but this episode, I think it gave us more than what we planned, what we had hoped, because we were waiting for Tati to go off on Clay because of him not telling her that he has a 2-month-old child. But that's not even the issue anymore. The issue was the hug that came from around the corner. The hug that came from around the corner from his female best friend, which already is enough for me to be like, yeah, I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go. Y'all, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. We are reviewing The Never Ever Met, season 2, episode 7. I mean, it is called Sex, Lies, and Everything on Tape. So we start off with Jared. Jared is making breakfast tacos. And Jared just being Jared. Jared's a MVP for me. I love him. He's great. He's great to look at. He's great to listen to. He's a great mixture on the show. Everything about him is great. Maybe not for Charlie, but he's great for viewing eyes. So we get to Tati and Clay because they are the main character of this episode. Excuse me, I'm wearing my glasses. Yes, because why not? It's late. I'm recording this and I want to protect my eyes. I know you can see the reflection of my ring light, but it's fine. Shout out to my 2 frame photos in the back, art pieces that I've collected via Etsy. Shout out to Etsy. It's not paid sponsor, but it should be. But shout out to my man for putting that up for me. It's looking great. There's a vision. There's a vision gonna happen here that I'm putting together. Anyway, let's continue. So Tati and Clay, they talk about how they have had real intimate time because we know in the last episode it ended with them going to the boom boom room and getting their boom boom on. So okay, cool. Cinco says, "Hey, welcome to the party," because we know from the first episode Cinco and Jay hooked up. We get to a clip that's this like behind the scenes, late at night type of clip. Clearly, Tati was not a part of it. Okay, she was asleep. Clay's talking to a few of the cast members, a few of his castmates, letting them know that his best friend's coming. We already know that this best friend is a female, and he describes her as his best friend in the whole wide world because I'm 7 years old and I have a best friend in the whole wide world. Get your juvenile ass away from me. But not only does he have a female best friend, he has a porn star. I gotta exaggerate when I say certain words, so hopefully that didn't catch on for the algorithm. But he has a little porn star as his female best friend. As some of the folks commenting on this in the house, they're telling us in the confessional, like, why, or they're talking to each other actually. They're saying, why did he feel the need to even tell us that? Okay. Why share this? And I'm wondering because he's saying, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. She's a P star. She's a P star. She's a P star. Shout out to Cassie. Um, I know I went ham last episode talking about Cassie. We're gonna dive into that some more in my podcast. So look forward to that. But let's go ahead and continue. So yeah, Clay's best friend is a P star. Why did he share this information? I don't know. What I think it could be is he's attracted to her. She's a good looking woman. And I'll show you some picture because I captured a few shots. A few shots for the viewing pleasure. I wonder if I could find her. If I could go canoodling or perusing the internet webs. Anyway, let's move on. So anyway, so yeah, he tells a house that, or a few people. Now we get to Brit. Brit and Ty. Remember Brit and Ty? Brit is not feeling Ty. If that's not something that's evident for Ty, I don't know what could be. But she is not feeling that man. She keeps telling Kiki, yeah, there's no way she's gonna have sex with him. There's no way things could progress in that manner. She says she does not want to go to the boom boom room with him. Kiki starts off by saying, I'm not trying to be in your business. When someone says, I'm not trying to be in your business, they're trying to be in your business. It's like when someone says, no disrespect, no disrespect, but they say all the disrespect in the next few words. Please be wary of that language, okay? But anyway, of course, Britt is letting her in her business because she doesn't give a damn about Ty. She does not give a damn about Ty. It'd be one thing if she did care about him and genuinely want to build something with him. Then I feel like she should be mindful what she shares with Kiki, because Kiki, she strikes me as the type to want to be in people's business, want to be all up in your plate, literally and figuratively. Just last episode, we see her looking at Britt's plate after Ty made her breakfast, and she's like, "Ooh, what you got there? That looks so good." Ooh, like, girl, have you ever eaten before? I hate people like that. Like, that's so gross to me. Like, ew. Clay's best friend is I wrote down here, Clay describes her as his best friend in the whole wide world. And that just sounds so funny to me. How old are you? Now let me show y'all some clips. Let me show y'all some clips because my God, today. Do you see this? Do you see this? So this is the hug that became the the one that set things off, essentially, in this episode. She jumps into the house. She sounded all stink towards Chris, who opens the door for her. But I noticed that to be a common trend amongst all of the guests that come to the house. They look all scared, like, hello, yeah, hi, yeah, my name is Stacy. Yeah, I'm here for, like, can y'all just act like you've met people before? They sound so stupid at the door. Jamila was no different. But once she sees her best friend, this is my best friend. Apparently they've been best friends or they've known each other since 7 years old. Okay. Please miss me with that. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. I don't care if y'all slept in the same bed as kids. I don't give a damn if y'all showered in the same bathtub. I don't care how close you are. Get off of him like that. This is what I'm talking about with opposite sex platonic friendships. It's always a line that they're trying to cross, and then they look at you in the face acting like you're crazy for reacting the way that Tati did. Tati was well within her right to have been hurt by learning of this best friend jumping on him like that. So she jumps on him. She certainly does wrap her leg around him. Now, I do think the house kind of added a little more sauce to it by saying, yeah, she wrapped her legs all on him. And okay, yes, she did. Okay, she did. But the way that they were saying it, you would think that her legs were up here. Are y'all, make sure you're watching this on YouTube. Like, you're watching me as I'm saying this, not just listening to me on YouTube. Her legs are not up there by his waist. I mean, regardless, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But the point is, when other people tell you stories of what's happening in your relationship or what took place with your guy, with someone else, they tend to add more sauce to it. They tend to make it more dramatic than it already is. Like, it already is a big deal, but they're adding more to it. I feel like they were just adding a little bit more to it. But nonetheless, she actually is the godmom of his daughter. Okay. He tells her that he has yet to tell Tati about his 2-month-old. And I noticed when she came in, she and Tati, they barely greeted each other. Tati looking all uncomfortable. She's like, hi. Okay. Mind you, and that was before Tati was given the information about this hug. So Tati is steaming once she finds out after Jay tells her, yeah, she had her legs all up on Clay. So then we get to this scene here. We see Tati coming outside, and I want you to be mindful of what she's holding. Let me make this a bigger screen. I want y'all to see what she is holding. You may think, oh, it's no big deal. She's holding a glass, right? A champagne flute. I want y'all to clock this, okay? Keep this in the forefront of your mind. But I really want to highlight in this image, this is the nigga. I know we've been knowing how Clay looks. I'm not here to like shame anyone or anything, but Tati is a pretty woman. She's a pretty woman. Pretty woman. This is the man you're fighting over? This is the man you're telling his female best friend, stay the F away from him. Don't touch him. Don't touch my man. This is the guy? He always looks inflamed. Sweaty. This is the guy, Tati? Is this worth it for you? And doesn't he look like he got a little rise coming up right here? If y'all know what I'm saying. I digress. I just need to point that out. God bless him, but I just don't. Tati, no, this is not okay. So Clay is feeling very verklempt. He's been now. I forgot this information that was told to us later on in the episode that he is an Army vet. And with that experience, he has really bad nerves. He suffers from anxiety. And what I do appreciate about him sharing that with us is him having the knowledge to recognize what it is that he deals with internally and how it manifests in his behavior. And it's evident. It's evident that he struggles with regulating, with processing, and I want to give him the grace that he deserves for that. Anxiety is no joke. That's why I've always said, stay away from Army vets. Stay away from people who serve time, whether in the prison or overseas. Stay away from them. Thank you for your service, but I don't want you in my bed. I do not want you in my bed. I don't want you on my phone. I don't want you in my house. Go over there. Get away from me with all of that, Apollo. Shout out to Phaedra. So he's downplaying the hug. He's talking to his best friend, talking about, yeah, I totally speechless. His best friend is saying she's using very strong language to describe Tati. Now, granted, Tati did come outside ready to buck. So one could say, yeah, Tati was acting barbaric. That is the word that Jamila, who is his best friend, this is her right here, beautiful woman. So here's what I think it is. I think as soon as, because I'm sure, I don't know, actually, I'm not even saying I'm sure. I was going to say, I'm sure Clay told Tati that his best friend is a woman and her name is Jamila. I'm sure that he told her that she was going to come. I would think so, but who knows? I would think he would have told her that he has a 2-month-old, but he hasn't yet until later on in this episode. But she describes Tati as barbaric. She says I forgot what I was going to say. So, yes, earlier what I was going to say was the reason why I think Tati and Jamila had a awkward exchange in the beginning when she came into the house, I think is because Tati probably was sizing her up and looking at her like, oh, damn, this is a bad bitch. Oh, damn. Oh, damn, this is your best friend? So maybe there's something there. I do feel like if you have to navigate that and you were to choose, like, right, like you will prefer this best friend. It's one thing to look attractive. It's one thing to just appear attractive and this like conventional attraction with you. But to dress the way that she's dressed, like her stomach's out, her clavicle area is out. It's a lot. It's a lot. And then she knows that she's a P star. So, okay. Like that's already enough for me to have my guards up. So I get it. I totally get it. But let me circle back to this page, to this image. So let's get into, honestly, all the images I have here is focused on Clay and Tati. So no offense to Ty and Britt, but I didn't really give too much of a damn. But let's get into what's going on with them. Oh wait, before we get into that, so Ty. Oh, I wrote Ty. I meant to say Clay. Clay actually decided that it's best for him to escort his best friend out of the house after what Tati did when she came outside. Now, she didn't throw a drink. She said she was going to throw a drink at him, but she ended up not doing that. And she kind of threatened to throw a drink at her, but she didn't do that. Jay came out and stopped Tati from getting any closer. No producers or anything came out to block anything. So that's good. But spoiler alert, we see by the end of this episode that both Tati and Clay leave the house. And we'll get to that at the end. But Clay decided it's best to have his best friend leave, which is interesting because typically whenever a guest comes to the house, they meet and have a few words with the partner of their friend, of their loved one. I mean, I guess this was their version of a few words, but they barely had a chance to sit down with each other, to get to know each other or anything. So she left. He walks her out. She's rubbing up on him, like leaning on him. Totally inappropriate. And look, if people want to defend having the opposite sex best friend, I think there should still be parameters set to respect the romantic relationship your best friend is in. Right? Like if you really want to stand on your sword of having this female best friend, fine, stand on it. I can't control you. But at the very least, you should respect me enough to not allow her to think what y'all used to do before I came into your life, y'all could still do. You need to shut that down. Shut that down. Because actually, we're going to get into a clip that comes in the beginning, or not in the, that comes a little bit later. There was a scene between Britt and Cinco in the kitchen, and there were a few other people in the kitchen. And Jay actually talked about it in her confessional. She says how Britt has a tendency to be very touchy-feely with other people in the house. And we see an example of that between Britt and Cinco. And instead of Cinco being mum's the word, I don't know what to do, I'm just a man, he shut it down. Like, because Britt was trying to tickle him, like literally trying to tickle him, like, ma'am, you are in your 40s. What are we doing? But she tries to tickle him, and he's like, yo, stop. So like he immediately shuts it down. He's not rude with it, but he's not allowing her to just touch his body. It is an invasion. And people think so casually about that sometimes because, oh, we're sharing this house, we're sharing this experience. We're cool, right? No, we're not. we're still strangers. Like you and I, we're not in a relationship. But anyway, Single shut that down. So I thought that was a great example of what Clay could have done and should have done as soon as this woman here, his best friend in the whole wide world, came into this house and wrapped her legs around him. I think at the very least he could have, like, hey, how you doing? Like, I don't know. He could have, don't get me wrong, he could still hug her, but he didn't. Look how he's embracing her. Like, he's never hugged anyone in his life. Like, this is this first hug and the last hug he'll ever get. He is hugging her down. Okay, so he's taking advantage of this as much as she is. So that tells me a lot. It tells me that this whole best friend label is a farce. It's a farce. So as he's escorting her out, she's leaning on him, and then Tati's pointing out, like, wow, like he has yet to come after me. He has yet to see how I'm doing, and he's already made his decision. So she's pretty much calling it out, like, this is not the man that I want in my life. Because, and here's the thing, I think what this episode did was it really highlighted how much your anxiety could F you up in your relationship. And what I mean by that is Clay was so focused and overwhelmed with his emotions during this moment. And his mind, his headspace was blurry. He didn't know how to deal with it in the moment. He'll shut down, he'll get quiet, he'll retreat. So after he escorts his best friend, instead of going after Tati, instead of saying, Tati, instead of shutting it down, instead of like getting to her and trying to calm her down, what does he do? He sits with the guys of the house who had to tell him, yo, go to your girl right now. You haven't talked to her since. You need to go to her right now. You need to shut it down right now. They had to give him that directive. So Clay apologizes to Tati and he tells her about his baby. He actually tells her about his baby. He finally tells her about his baby. And I don't think Tati even heard that. I mean, she did, because she like shook her head and laughed a little bit. A part of me wonders if she already knew. Was it slipped in conversation with other people? Did someone give her a heads up? Did she put two and two together? Because we've seen in the previous episodes how she was trying to catch him in something that he was saying. She thought that he was already saying something that he was keeping away from her, but he kept lying at that time. But her reaction wasn't even about this 2-month-old baby. Instead, her reaction was more so focused on this hug. Like, she was not over it, understandably so. She was still very much upset. And she said, 2-month-old, I'm not even surprised. I don't even care. And she said, you're so, and she paused. And you see Clay getting upset. He's like, I'm so what? I'm so what? And she said, stupid. You're so stupid. And I'm highlighting this because throughout this season, we see that Tati is quick to insult this man. She is quick to call him out of his name. What did she call him in the episode when she found out that he lied about being vegan? Fake ass nigga. Some like, some common phrase that's been normalized for women to say to men, but it's actually very disrespectful. So you have to be very mindful and intentional what you say. But I noticed since then, she is quick with her tongue to be very disrespectful in how she uses her language to describe her man. Now you could say, oh, well, he disrespected her. He had this best friend wrap her legs around him. Does that mean you have to still be disrespectful in return? Does that mean you don't have to choose your words wisely while expressing how hurt you are. Like, just because you're hurt and angry does not mean you have to call me a bitch. Does not mean you have to call me stupid, right? Like, we still have to be mindful of the language that we use. We think that, oh, well, no, I have every right to call you stupid, to call you a bitch, to call. No, you don't. I just think that's interesting. I just think that's interesting, and we kind of give a pass for that because we think, no, he disrespected her. You don't have to do it back. You can still communicate your feelings in a effective way. And we see that shown in his face. Like, he is really affected with the words that she uses against him. But even in previous episodes, we notice that Clay, he does not stand up for himself at all. And again, this speaks to his mental health. It speaks to his anxiety and how he lacks the regulation that he needs to manage his emotions and thoughts. He'll buck up a little bit by saying, "What you call me?" And then she'll repeat it right in his face, like, "Stupid nigga, you stupid ass nigga." she'll let him know, this is, oh, you didn't hear me? Let me say it again. You're stupid. And then he'll just look down like, "What you call me?" What? So I think, again, he lacks the understanding and the tools needed to teach people how to talk to you. If you make it be known, I don't respect that and I don't tolerate that, you will not call me out of my name, and if you do it again, I'm out. If you have a non-negotiable line with that, if she really cared, she would stop, right? And yes, there's things that he could definitely work on, like being honest, like keeping it a buck. But I think there's areas of growth for the both of them here. So Tati's mom arrives. She's her guest in the house. And as soon as she arrives, Tati cries. She says that her mom is her best friend. She gives her mom the 411. She tells her about what just happened and how Clay had her best friend, had his best friend, wrap her legs around him. Fuck. Sorry, y'all. I'm tired. Anyway, Clay comes in and he introduces himself to her mom. And again, he starts off with an apology, which again is nice. I appreciate it. But you can tell he's very uncomfortable. He's like walking around all inflamed and shit. Tati is barely giving him any attention, give him the cold shoulder. She cuts it short, actually. She says to him, "Okay, you met my mom. You could go now." Girl, it's just rude. It's rude. And for him to be as cowardly as he is, and I'm sorry to say that, I don't like to describe men as cowardly typically, because that's definitely a hit to your ego in your manhood. But he's cowardly. It's very strange because he's an army vet. You would think he's like this very macho guy. He's totally not. And you can see him leaving the room with his tail between his legs, looking all stupid, like her, like the way she describes. He really is that. So you may argue, well, she's describing what it is. Still, it's like kicking a dog when it's down. So she asks her mom, like, "What would you do? Like, what do you think I should do in this moment?" And her mom says, "Look, emotions are high right now. Emotions are high, but I just say sleep on it and have fun while you're here." So this told me a lot. It told me that maybe she's teaching her daughter to have tolerance for this type of thing. Like, yeah, his best friend wrapped her legs around him, but just sleep on it. And I'm not here to judge either way. I'm not. I just think it's funny how she said it. But what I noticed with Tati, she doesn't want to say it outright. and she'll give him the cold shoulder and everything. And granted, maybe she just still wants to stay in this house and be a part of this experiment. But Tati isn't quick to say, no, I'm done. I'm not dealing with this. You lied to me over silly stuff. You've lied to me over a big thing. And now you have your best friend wrapping her legs around you. And you would think Tati would be more upset with the lying of the 2-month-old baby, the lying of a minute detail of him not eating meat. But she was more focused on this best friend. So it's just, it's just kind of, I think the prioritization, I think if she would have been well within her right, in my mind, she would have been well within her right if she wanted to cut things off with Clay for just that small lie of him acting like he's not eating meat. No diddy. We learned Jared actually has been married for 3 years. Jared has been married. I can see it. I can see it. The way that he speaks and communicates, the way that he spews wisdom. I don't know. I love Jared. I like Jared. I like him. The way that he just carries himself, he does come off husband-like. So I could definitely see how he has gotten married before. I don't know how long ago, but it only lasted for 3 years. And he said the reason why it ended is because he just found it to be exhausting. Literally, that's what he said verbatim. He found it to be exhausting. And I think that's an interesting choice of words here. Exhausting. Like he just I felt like he was putting on a front throughout his marriage then. To find being a husband, having a home, having this stability type of lifestyle with a wife, with his wife, former wife, that probably, like, maybe he just wasn't being who he was, what he wanted to be, and he was playing along a script that was written for him. Shout out to Jimmy Fox. But I think that's very interesting. Yeah, he found it to be exhausting and he didn't want to do it anymore. Now, it doesn't reveal if if the marriage ended because of infidelity, or did he file? I don't know. But nonetheless, he said it was exhausting and he wanted out. So yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, we see a clip of Britt getting touchy with Cinco, who swiftly shuts it down. And I really F with that. Shut that shit down. Britt is so not into Ty. She is so not into him. We see later on that they go on a date. He takes her on a date, and instead of like going to an external place, he takes her to his apartment. Which, look, I'm not opposed to dates in the home. I'm not one of those girls. You got to spend $500 for our first date. No, we go to the picnic and have a good time. I don't give a damn about that. I think thoughtfulness is very important. But I just found it to be funny. I found it to be funny primarily because I felt like Britt's face, because she's already not that into Ty, because she already does not find any chemistry with him. This did not help. Like, this did not secure the deal of him finally getting some boom boom action. And mind you, it was very thoughtful. He brings her to his home, and his home is clean and well kept, so that's good. He had this chalkboard set up of displaying what the menu is. It was just so cute, and he made some crab legs and a few other things, and it was just so well done. But Britt could care less. But what she was doing, she was sucking on those crab legs, though. She liked the food more than she likes Ty. Like, what? And I think Ty, he has yet to share this in the confessional or with the guys in the show or anyone else in the show, that I don't know if he's peeping game. I don't know if he recognizes that she's not that into him. She's not that into him. We see a clip of Clay noticing a bunch of roses centered on the floor, and the roses spell out the word or the letters FU. He notices, obviously, it's a message to him, and these were the roses that he apparently gave to her. Oh, and I just remember, these were the roses from the bouquet that he gave her a couple of episodes ago, or was it last episode? When he came to the dinner table and presented her with this bouquet of roses. So, what's her name? Tati said, you know what you could do to make things get better between us? You know what you could do? You could call that bitch. You could call this bitch though. Let's get into this image here, right here. She says to him, you could call her over the phone. Call that bitch right now. Call her right now. And tell her what she did yesterday was not okay and was totally disrespectful to me. But not only did she gave Clay this directive, she said to him, you need to have a backbone and call her. She said to this guy, you need to have a backbone. I mean, Clay, if you don't have a backbone at this point, let this be a moment for you to realize, oh, shoot, I don't have a backbone. I need to leave this relationship because she is talking shit to me. Now, I think maybe Clay is liking this because, again, this is not the first time she has called him out of his name. She has insulted him. This is not the first time. And Clay has yet to stand up for himself. And it is just so surprising to me considering his background. Like, where is your stand up? Remember that video? Stand up, girl, get up. It's just so he calls his best friend like the bitch he is. Like the bitch he is. First of all, what he should have did as the man, like, hold on. Who the fuck are you talking to? He should have choked her up real quick. No diddy. There's other ways. There are productive ways to stand up for yourself. No diddy. So Clay calls her, and immediately he starts off by saying, hey, so okay, so the shit we did yesterday, that's not cool. That's not cool. Not even a greeting. I mean, he did say, I'm here with Tati, and I just want to, like, he didn't start off with a proper start off. Like, yes, he introduced who is on this call, like who's with him in his presence, but I felt like it could have been a better introduction. It could have been, hey, I do you have a second to talk on the phone real quick? I just want to talk to you about something. I don't know. He just didn't start it off proper. So he calls her. He says the shit we did yesterday was not cool. And the girl, his best friend, is talking about, we've been best friends since 7 years old. We always do this. I don't see what the issue is. Clay is suddenly mute. That little weak ass intro that he gave, the shit we did yesterday was not cool. Suddenly he can't speak at all anymore. So this girl, his best friend, she's denying, wrapping her legs around him. Tati, because this is a on the speaker type of phone call. Tati starts speaking, and she says, what you did basically was disrespectful, and you shouldn't have done that. But we get to a part here, because I remember I told y'all to peep what Tati is carrying in her hand at this scene right here. Okay? Little champagne flute. You would think she's drinking champagne, but we learned from this clip, from this, because the producer, whoever edited this episode, Shay D, they had to make sure the captions were on for what Jamila said here over the phone. First, she starts off by telling Tati, clearly we're not on the same. No, clearly you're of a lower tax bracket than me because You were drinking wine out of a champagne flute yesterday. You were drinking wine out of a champagne flute. Yeah, mind you, that was the only thing that her best friend noticed. She didn't notice her anger. She didn't notice the intensity of the moment. All she peeped was Tati drinking wine out of a champagne flute yesterday. Yo, that threw me out. Oh my goodness, that was hilarious. And then Tati having the nerve to kind of defend it. She's like, yeah, I could drink whatever I want. I clearly had a long day and I could drink whatever I want out of a champagne flute. Like, girl, shut up. You sound so dumb, too. You sound dumb, too. What Tati should have done, considering she already showed her barbaric side to this best friend, she should have been like, yeah, and that champagne flute, you're lucky it didn't go up your ass. You're lucky it didn't go up your ass. That's what she should have said. Clay's on mute. Clay's not saying anything. And we see a clip of the rest of the house guests listening, and no one's laughing in this moment. I don't know how people kept their composure, especially Clay. I would have giggled, y'all. I would have been like, oh shit. At least I would have said that. Oh shit. I didn't hear anyone say that. At least they didn't show that. So Tati's telling him, you better tell her what she did was wrong. You better tell her what she did was wrong. If I'm gonna give you 5 seconds, if you don't tell her, so she's talking to him like he's a child. And I'm not trying to harp on how she speaks to him necessarily. I'm creating the framework here. Shout out to my doctoral program framework. But I'm creating a framework here because this is a consistent pattern that we see from her towards him. Yet he allows it to happen. I mean, this relationship is doomed, obviously, but it's just a very interesting observation here. So she gives him a countdown. He finally does tell his best friend, but he says it in the most quietest, or in the quietest voice ever. He says, I think it was wrong. I think it was wrong. Huh? The bitch didn't even hear you. We barely heard you. I had to rewind. We barely heard you. He said it in the quietest voice ever. I think it was wrong. He's like, I think it was wrong. He basically whispered. And Tati got up like, this nigga, are you serious? She got up and walked out. So we get to the kitchen. He hangs up the phone. We see Clay go into the kitchen. And then Tati calls him a bitch, y'all. She calls this man a bitch in front of everyone. And obviously in front of us as viewers, but in front of everyone in the kitchen at the time. So throughout this episode, she has called him stupid. She's called him someone without a backbone. And now she has called him a bitch. I mean, yo. At this point, I am well within my right to believe that he is such. Because how could he deal with that? Yes, he's wrong in his own ways, but still, it does not give you a right to speak to people like that, Tati. It does not. You need to find a better way to communicate, Tati. That is not effective at all. Not at all. Kiki checks in on Tati, and she's asking her, you know, what do you want to do from this point? Do you want to work it out? Tati says she would like to do therapy because she does say there are things about him that she does like. And it's like, girl, what? Really, where? Because the way that you go off on him, you wouldn't think that she likes him. She likes berating him. and doing it with a smile. But I don't think she likes him like that, to be honest, because that's crazy. That's how you talk to someone you like. So they have their little therapy session with Dr. Allie. They tell her about what happened. Clay opens up about his bad nerves. Clay tries to be affectionate towards her. She does this. She yanks her arm. She yanks her arm away from him time and time again. And it's embarrassing, y'all. It's just back to back to back to back. And when I watched this episode, initially I was like, well, I mean, she's upset, right? But then after a while, I'm thinking, like, no, this is probably a lot. It's a lot for someone to take. Considering the incessant name calling she has given him, considering the cold shoulder, the poor talking about him in his back, behind his back to his face, and the yanking of her arm every time he tries to get close to her. Like, she'll give him a little bit of progress, a little bit of moving forward. Like when they were playing chess at one point, he's asking her, hey, do you want me to teach you how to play? Do you want me to teach you some moves? She's like, no, I got it. I can do what I want. I can do what I want. It's like, if you're going to have an attitude, don't even talk to me then. So I get it. I really do get it. If you're going to have an attitude, regardless if you feel like it's warranted, there at some point, there's a stop. There's a stop sign. You have to stop. So I think eventually what we see at the end of this episode is Clay having a backbone. I kind of want to jump to the end because I don't really care about these last few parts, because I already mentioned Ty and Britt having their date, so we can move forward from there. Chris has his friend come over. No, his cousin. And they don't know. Are they from the backwoods of Alabama? What they talk with such a lagged speech is actually very interesting. You could tell Chris is not that into Alexis, and he was hoping for his cousin to agree with him, right? To say, yeah, she's not for you, man, or whatever. But after Chris's friend speaks to Alexis and they come all back together, he tells him, yeah, she's a good lady. She's a good woman right here. I see great potential with y'all. You can see in Chris's face, like, nigga, I've been trying to tell you, I don't want this bitch. That was funny. Okay, so we get to the end. Tati calls. Oh, another before he leaves, because we got to add more to the insults. I feel like this episode really picked up on that on purpose, because wow, y'all. After Tati learns that Clay was wanting to leave the house because he's had enough of Tati give him the cold shoulder, she goes to him and she's like, you act like a big man baby right now. You acting like a big man baby. And he's like, what? Like, another smack to the face. And in that moment, they're playing this little yo-yo game. Like, okay, I'm going to leave. I'm not going to leave. Okay, I'm going to leave my things down. And she's like, all right, then why you think, let's go outside. Let's go outside. Like, yelling at him. Like, all right, you're not leaving. Okay, then what we talking about? Like, girl, this is not comforting. Hug your man if you want him to stay. She's like, obviously, if I wanted to go, I would have left. Or obviously, that's not comforting. I hate when people do that. Obviously, if I wanted to go, I wouldn't be here. That's not comforting. Say it in a different way. Anyway, they leave together from that bedroom. The last few words were, okay, I'll stay, or whatever. That's what he said, like, okay, I'll stay. Okay, I'm not going to leave. Even though right before then, he had most of his things packed. But I think right after she left, he probably still felt unsettled about it and said, I'm not dealing with this anymore. So he does pack up and leaves. He leaves. It's not like he tells her, hey, I'm gonna end up going. I don't think this is a good idea for us to continue this. No. So of course, because he leaves, she has to go because what you here for? What are you here for? Who else can you call a big man baby, stupid, a bitch, a person with no backbone, a stupid ass motherfucker? Like the names go on and on. So he leaves, she leaves, and then we end off with Jared and Charlie. They're on the couch together. Kiki is talking to them and she's saying, y'all better not leave. Y'all better not leave. Charlie says affectionately to Jared in that moment, she says, you think I'm gonna leave this man? You think I'm gonna leave this man? Like he's such a prize because he is. Jared is. Jared is. I get it, Charlie. I get it. But no, you still a fool. You still a fool. And in that moment, y'all peep, he put his head down. He did not respond with the same affection. He did not respond at all. He put his head down. He couldn't even look at her because he knew since the beginning that he was not about that life with her. He did not feel the same way for her. He tells us in the confessional that he actually realizes the honeymoon stage is over between them, and his feelings for her, he doesn't really have true feelings for her. So he plans to tell her because that's the right thing to do. So we'll see that in the next episode. But okay, you guys, we're going to end it here. Thank you so much for listening and watching this video of my review of this episode. Let me know what you think about this episode. Do you feel like Tati was well within her right to call Clay all of these names? Do you feel that way? Because I don't feel that way. I don't think it's appropriate at all, regardless. And do you think Clay needs to work on his emotions and his way of processing and managing and handling moments? I think so. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.